Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, why I'm going to try and give up my Kindle. So I am a long time Kindle user, and my first Kindle was a Kindle keyboard, so one of those ones with a physical keyboard, which sadly no longer works. I've had multiple different devices from Amazon since then. I currently use 3 different Kindles regularly, so I have a Kindle Basic, which I use. I have the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. And I also have a Kindle Scribe. So all of these I've talked about and done reviews of on the channel. So I am deep into the Amazon ecosystem, the Kindle ecosystem. And indeed, I'm a heavy user of Amazon generally. So we have, we get stuff delivered via subscribe and save. I buy, books and, gadgets and all sorts of different things from Amazon. We've got Amazon Prime. We watch Amazon Prime video stuff. So I am deep into the Amazon ecosystem, the Amazon, the world of Amazon, as so many of us are nowadays. And it's something I've become somewhat uncomfortable with over the last, kind of year or two. Amazon seemed to be such a hugely dominant force in online retail. And certainly seem at times to abuse that power they have somewhat. And I am, I'm one of those people who is increasingly disturbed by the fact that it feels like we've ended up with a version of capitalism that means we have a very small number of hugely, obscenely rich people like Jeff Bezos. And everyone else seems to be, struggling more and more, particularly with the cost of living crisis at the moment. And someone on my Discord asked the question a while ago, why does nobody on BookTube really talk about Amazon and Amazon's dominance? And that's something that's kind of stuck with me since they made that comment. I couldn't really answer the question at the time. I think it's because so many of us like me are so addicted to Amazon devices to read on. Ebooks have become such a central part of reading to so many of us, and Amazon frankly do it really, really well. The devices are well made. They're not too expensive. It's very easy to buy Kindle books from them. WhisperSync, which is the service they have that allows you to synchronize your progress through books between different Kindles and between Kindle apps as well. So if you've got the Kindle app on your phone and you read a bit of a book, when you go to your Kindle device, it will have synchronized and you'll be at the same page. They've really thought a lot and come up with some real innovations and great. They've made reading easier in many ways by their through their devices and by the thought they've put into them. So Kindles are really compelling devices. As I say, I've talked about all of the Kindles I just showed on my channel in the past. I've done reviews of them. I think they're all great devices. I really enjoy using them, but they come at the price of being stuck within the Amazon ecosystem, and that ecosystem is one that's designed to just make you buy more stuff that you don't really need. And as an example of that, so I just checked my Kindle books. I checked to see how many Kindle books I bought. So I have a load of books on my Kindles which I did not buy from Amazon. Things I got from NetGalley, things I've downloaded from like Project Gutenberg, places like that. Things I bought from other online stores like Humble Bundle. So I've got almost 1,000 things that I bought from places other than Amazon. And it's worth saying that Amazon also make it very easy for you to get books that you haven't bought from Amazon onto your devices. So, you can upload them onto, there's a web page, you can upload stuff to your Kindle, you can email them to your Kindle. So they really make it easy for you to use your Kindle to read on. So I've got 1,000 books that I haven't bought from Amazon roughly on my Kindles. I've also got 2,400 books that I have bought from Amazon. So the vast majority of those books I will have got in 99p deals. Which they do regularly, and I used to be addicted to, at the start of every month, literally loading up the Amazon website and going through every page of their month's worth of deals, which would be like 50 pages of books, and seeing if there was anything I wanted, and clearly buying a lot of them. So of those 2,400 books that I've bought from Amazon, I've read 600. So I've only read 25% of them, which is ridiculous. So Amazon have persuaded me to buy 1,800 books that I haven't got around to reading yet. That, arguably I didn't really need. And even if I only paid 99p for each of those, that's £1,800 basically that I've given Amazon that I needn't have given Amazon. So Amazon are very, very good at getting money from us. And the Kindles are designed, the Kindle home screen will have one line of like your content, your library. The rest of it is stuff you might want to buy from Amazon, things Amazon thinks you want to buy. So let me just show you that on my scribe. So at the top there, you've got, my recent items. So items from my library, things I've gone into recently. And then the rest of this whole page is, which has got a massive scroll bar at the side, by the way, is things Amazon thinks I might be interested in buying. So you've got like recommended for you. You've got bestsellers included with your Prime membership. Continue series you've started, new in Prime reading, science fiction titles in Prime reading, upcoming releases. So, they use the Kindle as a device to sell you more stuff. And bear in mind, I already pay the additional £10 to not have ads on my Kindle, to have the ad-free version. And yet there are quite a lot of ads there, basically, aren't there? So yes, Amazon, incredibly good at selling you stuff. So I've been thinking recently, following that comment about, can I break free of Amazon? What would it take to break free of Amazon? And there's two things that have happened recently that I think have made it kind of come clear in my mind that I probably can. So the first is I've been doing this Read What You Own challenge. So it's the third year I've done it. And I've done it like twice back to back. So Read What You Own challenge is you read 100 books you already own before buying any new books. So clearly, as I've said, I've got a lot of books I already own that I haven't read, 1,800 Kindle books. So I did one 100 book challenge, one Read What You Own challenge, and then immediately started another one afterwards. So I've gone a long time. I started that first challenge in November. So it's not since November have I bought any Kindle books really. I bought a couple for like group reads and things like that where I couldn't get them from the library. But aside from that, I haven't bought any Kindle books. So that habit I had of like checking the Kindle daily deals every day, checking the monthly deals every month and buying tons of books that looked like they might be interesting and were cheap, I've managed to kind of break free of that. And I've also recently picked up 2 e-reading devices which aren't Kindles, which aren't Amazon devices. So those are, and again, both these I've shown on the channel and done reviews of. So the Books Palmer and the Big Me Inknote Plus. This thing. So 2 very different devices for different, kind of different scenarios, different styles of reading, if you like. So the Books Palmer is great for reading like on the train and in bed and things like that. The Big Me is great for reading, in my armchair in the evening when I've really got time to read. So 2 different devices that I've started reading more on. But I was reading using the Kindle app. So these devices both run Android. You can install the Kindle app on them and you can read books from your Kindle library in that app. And that is how I was reading. But they've also got inbuilt, reading software of their own. And indeed there are other ebook reading apps that you can download. So I thought I would try using those myself. Rather than using the Kindle app, let's try using the inbuilt apps, and I've been doing that for a couple of days. So in order to do that, I've had to remove the DRM from my Kindle books. So DRM, digital rights management, is basically like software built into those Kindle books that stops you reading them on other devices. So whilst you pay Amazon for those books, whilst you own those books, you can only read them on Amazon devices. Now, in some countries, it is technically illegal to remove DRM from your Kindle books. It's considered to be like a breach of copyright. In the UK, that is not the case. It's relatively easy to do. If people want me to, link to instructions on how to do it, it's quite easy to do. I use an application, which I think is the way most people do it, called Calibre, which is like an application. I've got it installed on my MacBook. You can get it for Windows as well. You install some plugins to that, and then you download the books from your Kindle library, and Calibre will automatically remove the DRM to make that book truly yours. So to make the thing you have paid for your book. And I can then read that book on any of my devices. So not having to use the Kindle app, using the inbuilt software, I can read those books on my devices. And I've been reading that way for the past few days. And I found it fine. There's no real downside to it at all. And in fact, there are some upsides. So one of those is that the reading apps on both the Big Me and the books are much more configurable than Kindles are. You can change, you can really finely tune the layout of the books in terms of like paragraph spacing and things like that, which I've quite enjoyed playing around with. I've also found that one of the things that I thought was a benefit of reading on Kindle, I've actually found I'm really enjoying not having. And that is, on Kindle, you can set it so it shows at the bottom of the screen how long it's going to take you to finish reading the chapter you're reading or the book overall. And that is something I've always thought was a good thing. But actually, now that I don't have that, because neither of the reading apps I'm using at the moment support that, they just show you like what page you are on out of how many pages in the book. I've actually found I much prefer that. I found that I was constantly getting distracted by that information at the bottom of the screen and thinking about, it was like pulling me out of the book and making me think about how much more can I read before I need to leave for work or whatever. Whereas actually reading without that information is much more natural, much more like reading a paper book. So I've enjoyed that. The one thing that I am now lacking is WhisperSync. So that's synchronization of my progress between the devices. But actually, I'd found that WhisperSync seems to be getting a bit flaky, so it wasn't working consistently for me at all, and it hasn't been for a good few weeks now. And B, it's actually quite easy just to synchronise them manually yourself, just to figure out where you are in one if you want to move to reading on the other device. So far, it's been an interesting experiment. By no means have I removed the DRM from all of those 2,400 Kindle books. I've done about kind of just over 10% of them, but I will gradually continue to work through. And certainly, if I want to read one of those books from my library, I will remove the DRM and then I can read it on one of these devices. But my intention is to remove it from all of them over time and load both of those, both these devices with my full library of Kindle books as well as the other books I have digitally. So far, it's an interesting experiment and has been much easier than I expected. Calibre is really easy to use. It's easy to get the books onto the devices. And I'm enjoying reading outside of the Kindle ecosystem more than I expected to. I've found it more different than I expected to. So not just that, not having the amount of time left at the bottom, but also not constantly getting bombarded in the Kindle app with other books they think I might like. It's allowing me to focus on the actual experience of reading a lot more than I was otherwise. Than I was when I was reading using the Kindle apps on these devices. So an interesting experiment so far. I'm going to continue with it and see how I get on, and I will probably do at least one more update video talking about it. But I thought I'd make this video today and just throw that question out there. If anyone else has tried this and what their experience of it has been, whether you think it's a worthwhile thing to do. I do genuinely feel so far, and I'm only a few days in, that I'm enjoying my reading more by not reading on Amazon devices. It's subtle things, it's small things, but it is somehow less distracting reading on devices where I am able to focus more purely on the book and I'm not getting bombarded by Amazon. So anyway, just a few thoughts from me on that. Do let me know in the comments what you think. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.